What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler, and today it is time for yet another top 10 video. We've completed the whole infield outside of one position, the catcher position. Today we'll do half of the battery, if you will, ranking the top 10 catchers in all of Major League Baseball. If you've watched any of my top 10 videos in the past, you will know that I don't solely look at a player's stats from the previous season, although that is a major part of the criteria, if you will. I also look at where these players are in their respective careers, and if I were starting a team, who would I prefer over to start for me? There are certain guys, obviously, I'd rather have than other guys. Who would I rather prefer in that situation? Also, my position listing is going based off where each player played the majority of their games during the 2019 season, as I know that a lot of guys play multiple positions. So with all that out of the way, let's get it started. At number 10, we have Roberto Perez. And I'm not going to lie, the catcher position is very thin, but Perez has earned his spot on this list. 2019 was the best season of Perez's career by far, as he hit .239, had 93 total hits, 24 home runs, and 63 RBIs, and a wins above replacement of 3.9, all of which were career highs. Perez is not on the qualified list of hitting catchers, but in those statistical categories, had he been qualified, he would have ranked 5th, last, 5th, 3rd, 5th, and 2nd. Perez is qualified as a fielding catcher, and last season was one of the better fielding catchers, not allowing any pass balls, the best amongst qualified catchers. Perez also allowed the second fewest stolen bases, with 29. Amongst all catchers, he caught the seventh most players stealing with 20. Perez is going to continue to grow, but will he ever be a top player at his position? I don't think so, but he has earned himself a spot on this list at number 10. Number 9, we have Yadier Molina, the ageless wonder. Molina is one of the greatest to ever play the position, and at 37, he still has a few more years left in him, I think. What is amazing is that Molina has played 16 seasons primarily at that catcher position and is still doing it. We see a lot of catchers transition toward the latter parts of their career to first base, similar to Joe Mauer. Jorge Posada did it a little bit, but not Yadi. Molina has never been known for as a hitter, so I'm not going to dive too deep into that. The thing that has been Molina's bread and butter, and the reason why he has lasted so long, is his fielding. Last season was not his best year, though, behind the plate by any means. He allowed only 4 pass balls, which is, for his career, below his average of 5.735 pass balls per season. The issue is that he allowed 22 guys to steal on him and caught only 8, the lowest since his rookie season. Molina also had his worst caught stealing percentage, catching only 26.7% of base stealers. This is, I think, due to the age, and that's why I can't have Molina any higher, because if I were starting a team, the guy's 37. His best days are behind him. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. I hope Molina plays well for the remainder of his career. He is definitely a surefire Hall of Famer, in my opinion, just given the remarkable work he's done in his career. But as of right now, he's not the best catcher in the game anymore, and he barely cracks the top 10 at number 9. At number 8, we have Salvador Perez. Perez is not the same player he once was, having just played his 8th season, and probably was a solid season, and one could make the case for the 29-year-old. But the issue is, Perez missed the entire 2019 season with a right elbow injury, which led him to having season-ending Tommy John surgery. So in his last full season, 2018, he hit .235, had 120 hits, tied his career highs in both home runs and RBIs with 27, 80 in each category respectively. But the issue, the fear is that it is the injury. Who knows how that arm is going to react coming back. He's got to throw. He throws as much as a pitcher. And when you think about it, if he catches a full 9-inning game, he throws as much as any pitcher in any single game. 2018 was a solid fielding year for him. He only had 4 pass balls and 27 bases stolen against him and caught 25 runners stealing. Good enough for his caught stealing percentage of 48.1%. But in the future, going forward, I don't see that number being much, much higher, that percentage, caught percentage stealing. I think he's going to allow a lot more stolen bases than he catches runners. Once he enters his 30s, because of the arm strength, it's going to start weakening. The injury doesn't help. And the reason why he's so low is because whenever baseball starts in 2020, although Perez has had the extra time, if you will, to recover, it will be over almost a year and a half since he's actually played in an MLB game, and that means something. And being that he turns 30 in May, I am very, very worried, and I don't know what to expect out of him. So as of right now, Salvador Perez, number 8 on my list. Number 7, we have Mitch Garver. Garver was in the midst of a breakout third season in 2019 until he suffered a high ankle sprain in the beginning of May, which kind of cut his season short. Despite only playing in 93 games last season, he had career highs in batting average, hits, home runs, and RBIs, with 273, 85, 31, and 67. Had he been a qualified hitter, Garver would have ranked 4th, 5th, 1st, and 5th in those categories. Not great by any stretch, but to be honest, his fielding was not much better. He allowed 31 stolen bases and caught only 6 runners for a caught stealing percentage of 16.2%. Granted, that number probably would have been a lot better had he played a fuller season, and that includes his hitting numbers. He probably would have easily gotten 40 home runs had he played, say, 150 games, and probably would have been a much, much better ranking player statistically amongst the best of the best at his position, both fielding and hitting. Garver is 29, so he can continue to grow, but it's one of those things where, like a guy later on this list, where we really don't know how much time he has left. And at the catcher position, the career span, if you will, the life expectancy, that's a better word, of a catcher at the position, at least, I'm not saying in actual life, is a lot shorter than that of a first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, etc. Catcher positions, they don't play as long, and it's for a guy like him who's going to be turning 30 soon, it's a gray area, so for that reason, I can't have him much higher. Mitch Garver, number 7. At number 6, we have Willson Contreras. Contreras is an emerging star at the catcher position. Despite playing in 33 fewer games in 2019 than he did in 2018, he had a better batting average at 272, hit more home runs with 24, and had more RBIs with 64. Contreras had a caught stealing percentage of 29.1% last year, which would have ranked him toward the bottom of qualified fielders at the catcher position if he were to be one of those guys. At 27, Contreras is in that weird spot similar to Garver where he is still young in terms of Major League Baseball experience, that he can still grow and continue to get better and better with age, but he is at that age where, at least at the catcher position, like I mentioned with Garver, who knows how many good years he has left. It will be interesting to see how he performs in 2020, but if he wants to climb into the top 5, he needs to be better on defense, in my opinion. So Willson Contreras, number 6 on my list. Number 5, we have Christian Vasquez. Similar to a lot of guys on this list, I sound like a broken record. Vasquez broke out in 2019 for the Boston Red Sox. Last season, he hit 276 and had career highs in hits, home runs, and RBIs with 133, 23, and 72. Was one of the 4 catchers considered a qualified hitter, and in those categories, he ranked second, third, and fourth. That is why I have Vasquez here in this middle spot. Although he is a qualified hitter, he is, in my opinion, of the 4 guys on that list, he's probably the worst one out of those 4. Maybe third on that list. You can make the argument. He's going to be a vital part for the Red Sox success going forward, and he is definitely a major piece in their retooling phase as they've shift off Mookie Betts. They got Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, etc., etc. So Christian Vasquez, number 5. At number 4, we have Wilson Ramos. After completing his 10th season, his first with the Mets, Ramos might be showing signs of slowing down, but he still was a solid piece for a Mets squad. At 32 last season, he hit 288, had 136 hits, 14 home runs, and a career-high 75 RBIs. Ramos is the second of the 4 qualified hitting catchers in baseball on this list, and in those categories, he ranked 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 3rd. It was really a toss-up for me between him and Vasquez as to who would be ranked higher. The issue with Ramos is that he might be getting up there in age, as he allowed 94 stolen bases and only caught 17, good enough for a caught stealing percentage of 15.3%. The reason why I have Ramos ahead of Vasquez is because he has proven to be a better player over time. There's a larger sample size, so I could kind of see the trends a little bit more. Where Vasquez, there isn't as much data. Amongst qualified catchers, that is the most stolen bases allowed, by the way, that 94. The 4th fewest runners caught stealing and the worst caught stealing percentage, which is very, very concerning as he gets older. And for a guy who's getting up there in age, similar to Contreras a little bit earlier, he is solid at the plate, but he needs to be better on defense without question if he wants to remain as an elite catcher in baseball. So as of right now, Wilson Ramos, number 4. At number 3, we have Yasmani Grandal. We have now gotten to the point in the list where these 3 guys, numbers 1, 3, 2, and 1, are simply just a step above everybody else. Grandal is the start of this group, and last year he performed well for the White Sox, hitting 246 and had a career highs in hits, home runs, and RBIs with 126, 28, and 77. Amongst qualified hitting catchers, Grandal ranked 4th in batting average, 4th in hits, 1st in home runs, and 2nd in RBIs. He was also 2nd in WAR with 2.5 wins above replacement. The thing with Grandal is that he turned 31 back in November, and of the guys in the top 3, he is the oldest. And if I were starting a franchise, I would ideally want someone a little bit younger or who puts up better numbers, which is simply what both the guys at number 1 and number 2 do. Grandal, great player, has had a remarkable career, and I think he's getting to that point now where It's just who wants him. And that's another issue with me. He has the numbers to be really, really good, but he's getting up there in age. He's slowing down a little bit. So number 3 is as high as I could put him personally, unless he breaks out. It has a remarkable year, leaps and bounds better than his 2019 season. At number 2, we have Gary Sanchez, otherwise known as the Kraken. Sanchez, since bursting onto the scene in 2016, has become one of the most feared hitting catchers in baseball. Last year, he hit .232, had 92 hits, more than a third of which were home runs with 34, and had 77 RBIs. As a hitter, like I said, Sanchez is one of the most feared guys in the league because he could shift the tide of a game on an instant with his power, and that is why he ranks so high on the list. The reason why he doesn't earn the number 1 spot, however, is twofold. The first reason is because as a fielder, he is not the best. Last year, Sanchez had 7 pass balls, not bad, down from 18 in 2018, but still, for a guy who should be an anchor on a baseball field at the catcher position, it seems like more often than not, he makes a play on defense that shifts the tide of the game against the Yankees. Nothing speaks to this more than Sanchez leading all catchers last season with 15 errors. The second reason why Sanchez comes only in at number 2 is because of his injury history. Since 2017, Sanchez has played in only 317 out of a possible 486 games. So that is just about 65%. And the majority of the time, it seems like he's not like he's not playing because of a day off or anything. It's because he is actually injured. Sanchez is so talented at the plate, but if he's not available to do anything, what good does that do for the Yankees? So Gary Sanchez, number 2 catcher in my opinion. Coming in at number 1, the best catcher in all of baseball in my opinion is JT Realmuto. After joining the Phillies prior to the 2019 season, Realmuto has earned the right to being called the best catcher in the league. Last year, he hit .275, tied his career high in hits with 148, and had career highs in home runs, RBIs, and WAR with 25, 83, and 4.4. Amongst all catchers with at least 200 at-bats, he ranked 5th, 1st, 4th, 1st, and 1st in those categories. Need I say more on that end? Realmuto is also a really good player behind the plate, actually in the field, as he had the best caught stealing percentage amongst fielding catchers at 46.7%, having 49 bases stolen against him while catching 43 runners. That 43, by the way, was the most amongst all catchers, 16 more than the guy in second. Last year did not necessarily go the way the Phillies probably wanted it to, but with a 29-year-old Realmuto and some other really nice pieces, the future seems to be sunny in Philadelphia. Yes, I did make it always sunny pun. But JT Realmuto is the best catcher in my opinion. So what did y'all think? Did I get this list right? Did I get it wrong? Who should I have put on this list and who should I have taken off? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day and we'll see you next time.